Everyone is looking for the secret to weight loss, and I have it. It's diet and exercise. Please don't shut off the video. Hear me out. Everyone has known this forever. It's not a shock that this is how it's done, but I'm going to give you more information. Hopefully something you haven't heard before. I want to explain some physiology about the human body. First, I want to discuss what happens when we eat. We start digesting the food. This is when our blood sugar rises. It's also when the building blocks for triglycerides, otherwise known as fat, increases in our bloodstream. These building blocks enter our fat cells and get rebuilt into stored fat. When our blood sugar elevates, our pancreas recognizes this and releases insulin into our bloodstream. Insulin's job is to bring the blood sugar back down. How it does this is by acting as a key. It opens the door into the adipose tissue, otherwise known as the fat cell, and allows the glucose in. By moving the glucose into the fat cell, we reduce the blood sugar back to equilibrium. While the glucose is in the adipose tissue, it is converted into triglycerides. This is where people panic. But glucose does not directly become fat every time blood sugar rises. The majority of glucose is converted into glycogen. It's only the excess that becomes triglycerides. What happens if blood sugar drops? Say it's been a while since you've eaten, maybe 4 to 6 hours. If blood sugar drops, once again, our pancreas recognizes this, and as a result, what it does is it actually releases glucagon. Glucagon's job is to bring the blood sugar back up. What it does between the 4 to 12 hour mark is stimulates the breakdown of glycogen. Glycogen is used as fuel in our muscles. It's also stored in our liver. The glycogen being used is being taken from our liver. After about 12 hours, when glycogen stores are running low, our body increases the utilization of fat to supply energy. It also uses some of this to help maintain blood sugar. This utilizes glucagon again, but what it's doing in this situation is actually turning on an enzyme to act as a pair of scissors to chop the tails off of triglyceride molecules. This turns a triglyceride into 1 glycerol and 3 free fatty acids. The free fatty acids can be used as energy, and the glycerol can be converted into blood glucose through the kidneys and the liver. By doing so, this actually increases the blood sugar. Here, we're finally starting to utilize some fat. The trick to weight loss, and when I mean weight loss, I mean fat loss, is we need to utilize fat more often than we store it. When we finally refeed after being depleted, any blood glucose increase is actually going to be stored as glycogen over fat initially. If we eat less than our body demands of us, we will have to use our fat stores in order to continue functioning metabolically. If we eat more than our body demands of us, we will store more because we will have excess. How does exercise factor into this? During exercise, we use multiple energy sources at the same time. During low intensity exercise, the majority of our energy is coming from the fat cell. We take the free fatty acids and convert it into our body's energy source, ATP. And through the breakdown of triglycerides, we take the leftover glycerol and convert it into glycogen to replace it once it's being depleted through the exercise. This is why diet and exercise is the only way to lose fat. You utilize fat when you eat less than you require to function. You use fat during exercise. This is where people try to hack the system with some weird diets. Now the question is, where do we go from here? Now that we understand the mechanism of how things are working, what are we supposed to do? If a diet is working for you, fantastic, don't change it. The problem is, the only real way to lose weight is to have a calorie deficit. So the question remains, how many calories am I supposed to eat? The thing is, it's individual per person. You need to calculate it yourself. My preference is using a formula called the Katch McArdle. This formula does a lot better when you know your lean body mass, but it still functions if you don't. I'm going to link in the description the website that I use, and I want you to input your information. And what you're going to get from that is what's called a basal metabolic rate. This is not how much energy you use in a day. This is how much energy you would use if you never moved. From there, what we have to do is actually use a multiplier to determine the amount of energy we need to maintain our weight. The multiplier for this is 1.2. This multiplier is for sedentary. The reason I'm using sedentary and not active is because what I want is for exercise to be bonus weight loss to you and not bonus food. You can see in this example that the equation when you don't know the lean body mass can be off by up to 200 calories. The thing is, this mainly has to do with people that are more muscular than the equation assumes. If you see in the next example, as a whole, the equation is quite accurate. The warning I will give is if you seem to be losing more than expected or less than expected, the equation may be off. And in that scenario, I would recommend attempting to get a skin fold measurement to determine fat percentage. Once again, if you take that number that we just got from the equation and multiply it by 1.2, you end up getting your maintenance calories for the day. An accepted rule of thumb is that in order to burn 1 pound of fat, you need to have a deficit of 3,500 calories. In order to do that, if you take 500 off of your maintenance daily calories, you will get 3,500 calories of deficit in a week. It may be easy early on to eat at a higher deficit. The problem is it's not sustainable. If you do too much too quick, what ends up happening is you don't succeed long term. What I would rather see is slower weight loss over a longer period of time. Time is going to keep passing. You're going to continue losing weight. Try and make it as easy as you can during that time. Fat can mobilize a lot easier when there's more of it. So early on, you may see more weight loss than is expected based on the calories. Some of this weight loss is going to be water. Some of this weight loss is going to be glycogen. There may be some weeks where weight loss stagnates. The thing is, while you're eating at a deficit and exercising, your body is under stress. During this time, it's trying to hold on to fat and water. One thing that can actually make it easier for you to lose fat is occasionally eating at maintenance calories. A day or two and then returning back to calorie deficit can be enough to show your body that you're doing okay. Sometimes a short return to maintenance can reduce stress and help reveal fat loss that was masked by water retention. The thing is, fat loss is not easy. It takes time. Time is going to keep passing. We may as well start working on it now. You'll regret it if you don't. If you like this video, please subscribe. I plan on making more videos like this one. If you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below. And remember, you're trying to take your life back into your own hands. Glycogen